Hey there, this is Samesh, and I just want to talk about a concept called the rising tide lifts all boats. If you've heard that saying before, then uh, you might have you might realize that it is actually quite true. And I'm going to talk just um, in relationship to sacred sound and sacred medicine music, because this is the realm that I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about supporting musicians and sacred sound musicians, musicians who play medicine music, musicians who play sacred sounds, sound healings. I'm passionate about helping this genre of music and this genre of musicians to grow and evolve. And even though it's a mature sort of genre within the community, I think it still has a ways to go out there in the broader context of the music that's the mainstream or generally people have access to. And the way I relate it to is that when I was young, my main, as I came out of school, for example, my main occupation or entertainment in South Africa, I grew up in South Africa, and in Johannesburg, it was pretty common for the young kids, high school age, 16, 17, 18, to basically spend our weekends getting absolutely hammered. Um, yeah, we used to, strange to think about it now, but we used to go to parties and just drink as much as we could. And that was generally how the evenings went on a weekend. We'd go to a club and sneak in or jump over the wall or somehow try get past the bouncers without getting caught. In fact, if you got caught, it was pretty scary because they took the one time they actually took us into this room. They lined us all up and they flicked off the lights and they basically slapped everybody. This is South Africa, right? They wouldn't get away with it back then in England, I guess. But in South Africa, that was pretty, that's how things went. But anyway, we used to jump over the wall to get into this one club. It was just down the road from my house. And we used to go to parties at, friends' houses. But we just used to drink and drink and drink. So one day, a friend of mine, I just met at my dad's bar. I was working as a barman. He offered me this little thing. It looked like a panado. And this little recreational something, was opening to a whole new world that I'd never experienced before. Because up until that time, my world was Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Aerosmith, and that rock side, and maybe a bit of Michael Jackson if my friends weren't around. Um, and then going out at night and getting absolutely blattered. And so along came this little pill, which I'll call it a pill, and all of a sudden, my whole life was transformed in an instant. In an instant, life was literally my universe transformed. And at that stage, I remember in South Africa, you know, dance music, which we started listening to at that stage, was not popular. Nobody heard dance music. Dance music was very unusual, and I can remember a couple of we listened. Then we used to listen to a lot. I remember we got like a CD called Ministry of Sound, and that CD was like, wow, it was like, I just remember how precious that music was. It was like this precious, precious music. And Carl Cox and his CD was like precious, precious. I remember how those tracks had an influence on me and really connected with me and opened my heart. And the community of, you know, ravers, there was a very small community. But basically, the music on radio was basically pop and rock. Never heard dance music on radio. And as the months went on, slowly and surely, dance music started making an inroad onto the radio. So, like, that track, I think it's called Dream. There was just a few tracks, I don't remember the name, but they were just those anthems. And they made it onto the the radio, and that was so phenomenal because here we were, this small community that listened to this very unusual music, and all of a sudden we were hearing it on mainstream radio. It was like weird, it was crazy. And then soon enough, now I don't know if that was the same in England, but slowly and surely, like, dance music just overtook all the music that was available, all the radio space. And now if you go to South Africa and you listen to music, it's pretty much all dance music. And that transition happened in a very, very short space of time. So the reason I share that story is because we are in the genre of sacred medicine music. And at the moment, the genre is very niche, it's very unique. And you probably don't hear much of this music on mainstream media and mainstream radio. But the time will come when this music starts getting played on radio. And when that starts, the tide will turn and it will become a flood. And I'm sure in no time whatsoever, we'll hear many, many, many more of this genre of music on mainstream and on the radio. So where I'm going with this is me personally, what my role is in this genre, in this community, is I'm here. I don't produce music myself. I'm a musician. I play percussion. I played percussion for 25 years. But personally, I'm not a musician. And I was thinking about that today. Like, if I was a musician producing my own music and releasing tracks and stuff like that, if I had any talent in that sphere whatsoever, then I probably wouldn't be helping you guys. I wouldn't be supporting you. It's only the fact that I can play music and I'm passionate about this type of music and its ability to transform, inspire, and change the world. And my skills, all the other skills that I've gathered over my life, that I can offer what I can offer to you guys as being the musicians. I can really, really support you from that place. So, back to the beginning of the story. The story is, a rising tide lifts all boats. And I'm often thinking of ways to support you even better and help you even better. And I often think, why would any of you guys help me? Or what is the reason, why would sacred medicine musicians help each other? And it's exactly for this reason, because even though we're in a small, small niche, the more we support each other, the more the niche grows. And by even promoting other people's music, you're going to establish this niche as something that is really important and has a part to play. The more we promote other people's music in this niche, as well as our own, and the more you support me in helping you to do that, and the more we support each other and create this really powerful uplifting, inspiring community that are supporting each other, the faster we get to that place where this music is being played on the radio, and the place where this music is being played everywhere, because it is that amazing. And in the process of that, can you imagine what that's going to do to the planet? So just like in the 90s, the 80s and the 90s, when ecstasy and the rave culture really had an impact. In fact, they say that, the football violence decreased by like 90% after all the football hooligans were taking ecstasy instead of going out at night drinking and getting drunk and getting into fights. And I think that this music could do that and much, much more. We could really, really make a huge impact on the planet if we get these messages and this music out there. Not that it's say that it has to become mainstream, because it may or may not be mainstream, but if we're more professional, which means that we're better at marketing ourselves, better promotion, better connecting with fans, it's going to be accessible to more people, because it's going to get in front of more people. More people are going to realize the healing qualities and the inspiration behind this music. And I feel that Spirit is behind us. So I think everything that I'm doing is literally inspired by Spirit, because I'm definitely not doing it for the money, and I'm definitely not doing it because I've got loads of time and I'm just sitting at home doing nothing. So I'm doing it because I'm driven to, because there's a calling, and I feel this calling inside my heart that makes me want to take action. And I'm following that calling, and I've got no idea where it's going to lead. And it might make me bankrupt, but I trust that this is inspired by Spirit, and I trust that Spirit will look after me. So I'm going to ask you that whenever you can, promote, share, support me as well as the other musicians in this genre, because if you do so, we're going to get to that place a lot faster where you are going to be the stars of the future. You are going to be the people who reap the benefit and the reward for all the hard work that you're putting in right now, because you're going to have the communications channels established, the fan base established. So when this music blows up, loves up, shall we say, and goes mainstream in a bigger way, you're going to benefit from it, because it's doing that. Like 5 years ago, nobody had even thought of the concept of something called the Medicine Festival. 5 years ago, nobody ever thought of the concept of Spirit Fest. These are particular festivals that are focused and inspired by medicine music. There's no way that growth is not going to just continue and continue and continue and get bigger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So, don't forget. Get my finger in there. Don't forget. A rising tide lifts all boats.